You'll have seen these everywhere. Yes, people puff on them, big billowing clouds of smoke, but mainly you'll have seen them on the floor. This is a disposable vape. Now, I'm not going to get into the ethics or the health benefits or disbenefits of smoking these things. If you're on nicotine and you want to give up, this is a very valid way to give up nicotine, cigarettes. But if you're not on cigarettes, why? That's all I'm going to say on that. What I'm really interested in is the fact that there are 14 million single-use vapes bought every month in the UK. I'm going to say that again. 14 million. Now, that's interesting. These are single use. You can get the big Doctor Who sonic screwdriver vape that you top up with your own liquid and you've got a kind of at-home chemistry set going on. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the single use vapes. What's the problem with these? Well, frankly, everything. They're a really complex collection of things. There's the liquid in here, obviously. Then there's some cotton wadding. Then there's a lithium battery. Then we've got a circuit board, a case, which in this case is aluminium, and you've got a whole load of plastic holding the thing together. This is a nightmare in terms of composite materials and complexity. But there's value in here. The lithium batteries that are in here that power this, we could use them again and again and again. It's a single use. We're encouraged to suck, puff, smoke and throw away. That's not fair. That's not fair in so many ways. If we were to take all of the lithium that's used in these batteries in a year in the UK, that would be 10 tons of lithium. That's enough to put batteries in 1,200 electric vehicles. That's huge. And we panic, because when we dig these out of the ground, when we dig the materials out of the ground, and yes, we're building lithium mines in the UK now, and that's a really good thing. We dig them out of the ground in places that are relatively unstable politically. We take this stuff from countries such as the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And if you have to add the words democratic and republic to the name of your country, you can be absolutely 100% assured that it's neither of those two things. A bit like Great Britain or United Kingdom or the United States of America. And I'm half joking, only half joking. But we have to protect the resources here. The battle for the future will be won by those countries and those organisations that have control over resources. If you haven't got stuff, you can't make things. That's fundamental. So we have to move to a circular economy. And to make single-use disposable materials like this that could go on and on and on forever is utter folly. But what's worse is knowing that these exist, putting them out on the market, and not building recovery and return systems to help the consumer, the customer, you and me, do something with them. Only 13% of these are returned to the retailer for recycling. 13%. That means 87% are thrown away. That's bonkers. It's no wonder that the local government association recommend a ban on these materials, because they find their way, 41% of them find their way into household waste. 28% of them find their way into street bins. That's no one's responsibility, is it? And 27% of these things find their way into household recycling. They don't do any good there. Sometimes by wanting to recycle everything and trying to squeeze it into our recycling system, we cause more harm than good. If this goes into a recycling facility, it would go into metal. And if it goes into metal, it'll get crushed. And when it gets crushed, the lithium battery in here will spark. And once that lithium battery sparks, it sets fire. We've seen a huge increase in the amount of fires in bin lorries. Forget that, they're at your house. We've seen a 100% increase in the amount of home fires due to these things. This is scary. I'm not interested in the ethics of it. You do what you do. My lungs are pure, right? However, think about it. Where does it go when you've finished with it? What do you do with it? And what could be done with it? We can change this, because every single one of these has a carbon footprint. You're looking realistically at about 175 grams of carbon equivalent in every single disposable vape. It's hard to get data on this. We know what the annual amount is per person, and we've divided it by the amount people smoke or vape. It's really, the data's murky here, which in itself tells a story. In terms of carbon, each cigarette is about 14 grams of carbon equivalent. So we're beginning to see that you need in the region of 13, 14, 15 cigarettes to have the same carbon impact as this. So if we keep this cycling, if we keep this going, from a carbon perspective, this is a good thing. If we throw it away, it's arguably a bad thing, certainly no better than where we were. So we have this incredibly complex, layered material. It's nice in the hand, right? You want it to feel nice in the hand. The whole thing is the tactility, the mouthfeel of these things. It's what keeps us going back and back, oh, of course, plus the nicotine. So how do we establish systems that can be truly circular? Well, if you vape, and that's cool, if you vape, take it back to the retailer. There's a producer responsibility for packaging and for all electrical products. This is an electrical product. Take it back. They should be able to take it off you. They should have recycling systems in place. And then if you get a refill one, I know they're big and there's a whole thing with ceremony and liquid and bubbling and stuff. I don't understand any of that. But if you can do that in a discreet way that you don't find embarrassing, then do that. Or maybe you can do that at home. So we have to change the way we look at these things. They cannot be single use. They have to be circular and they have to be closed loop. Otherwise, we're doing way more harm than good.